Alright, so I've been in the lab for a while testing G's instant overhead setups and combos, some of the stuff he can do with it, like that sort of thing. So yeah, let's just get into it. Basically, what you need to do, there's two ways to set this up, and there are some varying differences between the two ways and what you'll be able to do with it. So first way is to just is to get a jump in, and then that forces them to stand. Even if they're crouch blocking, it forces their body to be standing during the animation of stand blocking, which means that if they're blocking low afterwards, you can hit them with an instant overhead. So yeah, basically it's like, basically any setup that you would do to be able to get this would be any setup that you do off of a combo that gives you a safe jump, which somewhat depends on like the opponent's anti-air options. Like a safe jump on G would be a lot easier to get than a safe jump on like Cammy. But because you can only do this instant overhead on especially tall characters, G, Abigail, Birdie, Zangief, Alex, Sagat, Fong, and Urian, you don't need to. Not all those characters really have fast, instantaneous anti-air options. It's a little bit easier to get safe jumps on most of those characters. So after that, what you need to do to be able to get a safe jump. Well, okay. I don't have that many safe jump setups, so I'll just cover them really quickly. Obviously, I didn't test as much stuff for this because there's a lot of opportunities to get safe jumps with various frame kills or in the corner or anything like that. So, safe jumps and how effective, how legitimate they are depend on the character that you're using them on and what their fastest and most effective anti-air options are. So, I'll leave that to anyone else who wants to develop more safe jumps for any particular matchup or with G. The first one, when you get the level 3 over punch, if you wait and then do forward hard punch a little late, then forward jump, then you can get a meaty jumping hard kick on back recover at the absolute latest frame, and you're pretty good on normal recover as well, depending on what the opponent's anti-air options are. After the instant overhead, you can get, like, you can whiff a light punch, or just wait a little, a second, and then do a forward jump into down medium punch, and that'll cover both the normal recover, and then if they back recover, it'll land in the front, and depending on your opponent's anti-air options, they won't be able to anti-air it, so that's a good one. You can get something similar going on in the corner after you land anything really into the G explosion. You can get a really ambiguous forward jump into the jumping down medium punch. And then in the corner you have instant overhead V skill, or the instant overhead into V skill, and then you can neutral jump, which will cover both wake ups pretty well. And that's about it that I tested. That seems pretty legitimate. You can probably do something similar with like something like that. I don't know. And then the second way of getting an instant overhead is to do it on the frame that they are getting up, where their body will be crouching, but their entire hurt box will still be up in the air. So all you have to do is get a frame kill, and then get be at about exactly anywhere from +5 to +8 when they're getting up, because G's jumping light kick has like 7 active frames, I think. It's ridiculous. So But anyways, usually you want to be +7 or +8 from when the opponent's getting up. And if you're +7, not all the setups will be exactly the same, but usually if you're +7, you can get everything. But in some of the setups, if you're +7, you won't be able to get jump back light kick. Here, let me put him to crouch so that you can see that I am getting a legitimate insta overhead. So in some of the setups, you can't get, if you don't get a guaranteed knockdown, like off of the EX wall, which gets a wall bounce, so that you don't have to guess how your opponent's going to get up. For your other knockdowns where you do have to guess how your opponent's going to get up, then so it'd be better to go for jump back light kick in case you're wrong about whether or not the opponent normal recovers or back techs, so that you're not like either putting yourself in the corner or just like whiffing something and unable to press a jumping button. Like, so you can do that, and if you're wrong, you'll just back off. So this should work. It worked dozens of times in a row with no problems. So this should work. Neutral jumping off of that setup. But anyways, I've found it. Okay, I didn't even know that. Well, that's handy to know, I guess, if not a little annoying. Okay. So basically, it works if your opponent isn't... So I didn't even know that. Apparently, the frames that your opponent is left standing, I don't know if this is just a problem with training mode and like the CPU for when you set the opponent to guard and no guard, but if I set him to no guard, he gets hit by the neutral jump. But if I set him to block all or block after first attack or anything, if he just blocks, then it won't connect. So yeah, I guess that means that +7, you definitely have to go for the forward jump setup instead, and that means that +8, where you can go for back jump or neutral jump, is much better. Let's see, on normal recover, you can forward dash, and if they normal recover after the dash low, they'll be +8, no matter what strength of dash low you do, which allows you to get your back jump. So yes, +8 allows you to get a neutral jump into V skill or a back jump into V skill. So that's a setup that works on normal recover for the dash low. Beyond that, there's also on back recover for doing this into so there's two setups that you can do just regularly after the when you're just in like level 1, or you're doing the EX straight punch. You can walk forwards and get back hard punch into V skill, and that will give you an excellent knockdown, in which case you can forward dash twice. You'll be +3 on normal recover, and they'll be right there, or you'll be +8 on back recover, and you'll be right about here, but not quite close enough for the instant overhead. There's another way you can do it, where you do an immediate back hard punch after the wall bounce, and you get exactly the same knockdown, except that you're closer. Which means that if the opponent back recovers off of that, dash dash, jump back, light kick, instant overhead setup. If your opponent normal recovers off of that specific knockdown, you can do a single dash forward and then do... hang on. So, your basic option, the reason why neutral jumping on these setups can be useful is because if your opponent no-techs, then you have additional setups that you can get to get another instant overhead on the no-tech, which works in this circumstance. So if you get the wall bounce in the corner, you can whiff 2 crouch jabs afterwards. Neutral jump light kick. I mistimed it there. There we go. And if your opponent no-techs, you can whiff a light punch as soon as you land, then do a forward jump into your jumping light kick. Like so. I should mention that the reason that +8, being exactly +8, like there, where you whiff 2 crouch jabs off after the wall bounce in the corner, the reason why that's so much better than +7, other than the reasons why I just mentioned, is because it's the frame that you can also get a meaty crouching medium kick, which will be +1 on block if done meaty in that situation, and +4 on hit, which allows you to get a stronger, slightly stronger low conversion as well. And then if you get a counter hit with that, like, yeah, so on, that sort of thing. Another setup you can do anywhere is like, you can get a crush counter crouching hard kick, cancel it into whatever field of power, forward dash, back jump, light kick, yep. Or if you're not canceling the crush counter, like you don't react to it in time, you can do a dash up, standing light kick, standing medium punch. Sorry, standing light kick, crouching medium punch. Into a forward jump. Off of level 3 wall rush, or wall bounce punch, into back hard punch, into the level 3 kicks. You can do stand light punch, stand light kick, and then forward jump light kick. Oh, only on normal recover, of course. And then additionally, you can do the wall bounce, the level 3 straight punch, into back hard punch, V skill, field of power, forward jump light kick on normal recover. Basically, your opponent should probably back recover most of G's stuff, even if they're already in the corner. There's also here, hang on. You can, after the instant overhead V skill, you can do a forward dash with a medium punch and then do another forward jump, instant overhead jump light kick. Back to the corner again, off of the EX, or the level 3 dash low. On normal recover, you can get a forward dash into a jump forward light kick, and then on back recover, you can whiff a crouching medium punch and then do a forward jump light kick. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the big things are, of course, off of this knockdown, and especially in the corner, because that lets you cover both the normal tech and no tech, as well as giving you that meaty low, which lets you get bigger combos. I would probably recommend on characters that you can do this to, using V-Trigger 2, because the V-Trigger 2 lets you get bigger combos when you land it, whereas you can't really do these things in V-Trigger 1. Your instant overhead becomes unsafe on block in V-Trigger 1, and you can't combo off of it. As for the characters you can do this to, you need to know the differences. So you can do all of that stuff completely normally on G, Alex, Zangief, Birdie, and Abigail. Fong and Urian, because, see, when you get the instant overhead when the opponent's waking up, as opposed to when you're getting a jump in and then they block low for the fuzzy guard, when the opponent's waking up, their body is still crouching for the rest of it. Whereas if you get the fuzzy guard, their body is still standing. Which means that, which basically means that, if the character would be tall enough to get the instant overhead on if they were standing, but is still pretty short when they're crouching, like Fong or Urian, you can land the instant overhead, but it won't combo into the V skill if it's done off of those setups. It'll still work, like I said, if you do it off of a jump in. The instant overhead will combo cleanly, but the meaty setups won't work on Fong or Urian. And then for Sagat, Some of them work and some of them don't, so it'd be best to lab things out specifically for Sagat. So yeah, get to work. He's really lethal to big bodies.